Cool.
Yeah.
And we are going to be coming up any second now. And we're here.
Noise.
We're here. We're going to be appearing any minute now. Ta-da! We are live. We are live for the big AMPjam panel. For some reason, Tom Dizzy is muted, but he might have done that deliberately.
I did. I had
That's work.
There's some drilling was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, was that all that noise was? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome guys. We're gonna let the numbers sort of tick up because people sort of realise, oh, there's something we need to watch. And,
Sean, what up, man?
So we sort of fill the time in right now, and then I'll do a sort of proper intro. But yeah. So fun fact: Doaly lives like literally right up the road from me. Like, what?
You do? How close are we? I mean, without like giving away precise locations.
I mean, I'll say where I am. I'll say where I am, and you can tell me whether it's quite close or not. So I live by the Edgbaston Reservoir.
Okay, you're not far at all. You're stone's throw.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to the invite for a pint at some point.
Yes, soon as like COVID's over and the 2 meter rule's over, definitely we'll do a pint.
Sweet.
Just throw stones at each other.
Good work. I'm happy. I'm a big hugger, so it's fine.
So, and is anybody else living close by? I mean, Eileen and I, we probably live 2 hours, 3 hours at least apart. So
I live in England.
that's a couple hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I live in Scotland.
That's near England.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We've put a border up now.
There's going to be a wall, isn't there?
We're quarantining.
Huge wall.
Yeah.
I'm part Scottish, so I can come live in Scotland, right?
No.
Oh, just my dad.
No. The border's gone up now. No,
too late.
He bleeds iron. He's one of the locals.
My brother wants to come up, but he can't. He's not even allowed to visit.
Okay.
That's rubbish.
Yeah, I tell him that even when there wasn't COVID.
Yeah.
So let's start out with this first kind of question. So what's the latest purchase you made? I showed earlier. I showed that I got the Hot Toys Thanos.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that. That was my latest purchase. What is yours, guys?
This guy.
This guy.
Optimus Prime.
I bought a few actually recently.
You got a tattoo?
No, I got a few. I got Peter Diamond just had a sale of some of the stuff, and I got his Sleepy Hollow, which is class. Yeah. And I also got the Matt Berg Empire Strikes Back Japanese version.
Good choice.
Which I can't wait to see. And I can't wait. I got nothing on the walls. This is a new studio, so I only have my Killian Eng and nothing else.
Okay. Doaly, how about you?
I bought a new desk, which is the thing I'm most happiest about. So there's this desk, which is like for digital stuff, and I'm going to move the sofa out of here and put a desk there for basically pencil and sketching and everything else. So that's my big thing as of. Okay,
but by the way, when we talked privately, did you get Ghost of Tsushima yet?
Ghost. No, not bought. I haven't bought any games. I'm planning on just because COVID's been busy.
Tony Hawk's is out, isn't it? Right.
I bought that.
Yeah, I need to get Tony Hawk's.
Yeah, Tony Hawk is out.
That's my level of game.
So I plan to put some time aside and start playing video games again. It's been, I think I've had a break for about 2-3 months. So I will be buying those. Those are the next things that are just for me and not work related.
Okay. And I know Eileen bought something nice for herself.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm just going to say vroom vroom.
I bought myself an electric scooter, which is it's very nice to just zoom around the city and stuff, and not run into people, not having to use public transport because COVID. So that's been nice. But I also bought a print, which is also just like a mini print, I guess. Yeah. Mark Aspinall.
Yeah.
Yeah, his portrait of a lady on fire. He did like a little postcard print series, I think. I got one of those, so I'm waiting for that one. But post office is a pain at the moment, so. But yeah, that's it. Scooter, and that one.
Scooters are a bit of a sore subject for me right now.
And Chris, but she got like a Vespa, you know, like a.
Oh right, okay. I thought
Not the
right,
tiny
okay.
one.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, I
And not the weird.
not a micro because I came off my micro scooter and did myself some injuries.
Oh yes, yeah, saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, it hurt, yeah.
Looked painful, but yeah, Chris, what did you get? The hat or?
Oh no,
He's had that for ages.
Oh yeah, this has been a family heirloom.
Oh, okay, but
No, I got Matt's Japanese Empire because I love Japanese type on posters.
Nice.
He'll be a fan of that. And what else? I got Liam Wong's book.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
okay, cool.
Which is
his stuff is great.
Absolutely beautiful photography of
Yeah.
Tokyo. Yes.
That looks nice. I'm gonna Amazon that right now.
He makes everything look like Blade Runner. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you can buy it from his actual website.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if we put his website on here.
Yeah, I'll go to there. I'll go check it out. Put it in the comments.
Then you don't have to line Bezos's pockets, do you?
And then just boring things like brushes and watercolors.
Yeah,
Some
okay.
Gaultier brushes, which I'm going to use later today, I think, or tomorrow.
But yeah, a good thing is you can't buy it on the website. You have to go to Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
But okay, I'll put the website down anyways. But yeah, let's get into it. Gareth, how about you introduce the people that need no introduction, but we do it anyways.
Tom, I'll be delighted. Sorry, yes, I was posting in all your respective groups, so go on, I've spammed them, so you're welcome for that. So yes, we have the big AMPjam panel here, and we have 5 incredible artists, and I'm so happy that you all agreed to do this. And yes, and they've been very friendly towards each other before we went live. They're all delighted to be here. Matt Griffin now not being delighted. Oh, is he or isn't he? Is he delighted? Is he? Isn't? We have Matt Griffin here, illustrator and now poster artist. I'm
the one who doesn't deserve to be here.
No.
Codswallop.
Oh.
Stop.
What are you talking about? Are you going to do the Andy Fairhurst now?
I said to say this. I cannot do with artists being self-deprecating. Modesty, fine.
Okay,
Self-deprecating.
I'm
not so much.
amazing.
You are amazing.
I'm amazing.
You are amazing. We have Eileen Steinbach, aka SG Posters.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And we're delighted to have she obviously brings a digital sort of focus to so that's something different within the group, which hopefully will make for some interesting conversations. If you guys care to talk to each other, hopefully we get that. And we've got the Ferg, Matt Ferguson, and he's already spent an hour with us, and he's doing 3 hours with us. He's very generous with his time, with this Saturday as well. Are the family okay with that? No. The family are not okay with that, but we have him anyway, so very glad to have him. We've got Doaly, and Doaly lives. So we're streaming from Birmingham, and he lives basically down the road from where I live. Looking forward to the drink invite. And then we've got Chris Thornley, aka Raid71, who's wearing. Is it cold or you know? Are you cold enough to merit that?
No, we had friends around last night. We had a big party, and I've got shaggy hair, and I'm tired.
So you're feeling the party.
Shaggy
still.
hair and tired.
Oh yeah.
A lot of you been partying. Matt was popping champagne corks last night.
Yeah, I was. I just do that.
Anybody? Oh, you just
On
did
a
that?
regular basis,
Yeah.
Because you know, it's just the life.
Yeah. And obviously we've got Tom Dizzy, aka Dropcast, aka Drop Mag Official, with us also.
That's right.
Obviously, and I am Gareth, and this is sort of my convention sort of thing. So, should we go talking?
Let's get going.
Let's get going. Am I going to ask the first question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, I will. Let's touch on COVID, but we'll be brief about it. I suppose So how you feel at this point now have things gained some normality within the projects moving forward and stuff like that for you guys? Shall I put it to somebody specific, and then we'll go around? We could go around the clock if you want. If we start with we'll go with Matt Griffin and go around the clock, I suppose.
Sure, go ahead.
As the clock, as other people can see it. By the way, you probably won't see it the same way that you
don't know what we're seeing. No,
you don't know what we're seeing. But okay, I will bring everybody up. Right, Matt.
So I was very lucky during lockdown in that it didn't affect my work at all. And I really thought it was going to at the start. I was very nervous because I do a lot of work in publishing, and there was a lot of talk of publishing being in crisis because they wouldn't have trucks to deliver paper and all sorts of stuff. But it actually, I just got busier, and my studio is down the road from my house, and there's no one else here, so I wasn't in full lockdown in the house. And I was able to just come to work every day as normal. And I pointed that out to someone in front of my wife the other day, and it didn't go down well at all because she was in lockdown with 3 kids, including a baby and a new puppy. So my life continued as normal, and everybody else has fell to
the crapper.
Into the crapper.
I think James Henshaw broke the swearing barrier. So I think we are not.
I'll try to be good.
Shit, didn't he? Yeah?
He said shit.
Yeah,
he said shit.
So now we've all said shit. So you say shit, I say shit.
Shit's acceptable.
Shit's a good word. That's like that doesn't get you a 15 rating, does it? It's PG.
It is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's little kids interested in buying posters.
It's YouTube.
Okay. Well, shit's acceptable. That's good because I do tend to curse a lot, so it's taking a huge amount of self-control not to use.
That's right.
I'm just thinking that like my daughter is behind me, so that's how I.
Oh, you imagine that she is, even if she isn't.
Oh,
right.
She might be. She could turn up at any second.
Yeah. I just basically wanted to ask, what's everybody's best swear word?
Do you know, there are some very British swear words that don't get used enough, like pillock and twazzock and those sorts of things.
We say cheese and biscuits because of this cartoon called Bluey, which is a really good cartoon that Martha loves, and they say cheese and biscuits. It's just say that.
Sweet.
Oh, cheese and biscuits.
Peas and rice.
Yeah, I'm just the F word all day long.
Just the F word all day long. Chris, what's your go-to?
Anything that I can think of, I suppose.
Anything that you can think of. Eileen, do you?
Yeah.
Anything
Germans have a whole lot of good swear words. But...
I can imagine it's like I think it sounds good in German swearing.
I mean, for me, it's hard, because because I'm a teacher and my students, I always try to be leading by example here. And when they say something, I tell them not to say that word, never use it again, because there's some harsh words out there. But I'm very bad at this.
So we'll come back to not swearing topic. So Eileen, how I suppose we'll focus on rather than talking about how things were, I suppose, when initially. How are you finding things now? Are things, is the momentum there in terms of demand for work? You said when we spoke a couple of days ago that you're incredibly busy.
I mean, fortunately, working in the key art field a little more than anything else. It's I'm working for streaming services a lot these days, Disney Plus, Netflix, these kind of people, and they're still, filling their platforms with stuff. So there needs to be more key art, and that's what I've been doing quite a lot. I also had surgery in between there somewhere. To get my back fixed, so I kind of did a little forced pause there. But no, I really didn't have any downtime during lockdown. Also, we didn't have a real lockdown in Germany. It didn't get that bad, fortunately. But no missing out on anything. It just business as usual throughout the whole time.
Can I chime in? Speaking on of streaming services, Mulan just came out. How's everybody on that front? Streaming service take extra for those new movies. Do you like that, or would you rather have them in the cinema?
Oh, I like it. I'm going to watch it tonight.
All right.
I mean, meant to be brilliant by all accounts.
What is it on Disney Plus?
Start bringing things out and get normality back. I mean, I do love the whole cinema going experience, but I rather watch the film. So if it's Disney Plus, if it's Netflix or whatever, yeah, happy to have it.
All right.
So the next in the clock, going around the clock, is Ferg. So obviously you had your big piece come out during lockdown.
Yeah.
And obviously there were pluses and minuses.
Well, so when the virus thing all kicked off in March, I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad, because I do a lot of like cinema giveaways and things like that. So I took on loads of work that I wouldn't necessarily have took on, and then it turned out that it wasn't that bad, and I was still getting lots of like work as normal. So I've never been busier. But the Star Wars thing, The Empire Strikes Back, that was off and then on again. So it actually there was a few weeks where it was not happening at all, and I was like distraught because I was like, oh, I really want to do it, and then it actually happened. So that was good.
And how are things at this point now then, in terms of work, in terms of the
because we've started up Vice Press again, and I'm opening my personal store again. I've never been busier because I'm art directing people all the time as well, like Griffin,
like some of the people in this hall, perhaps.
But just art directing is rubbish.
But you're so good at it, though.
Yeah.
So you don't like the title art director?
Not really. Oh yeah, the trick to it is just to be honest and say what you like and what you don't like. But
now I work with a lot of art directors, and there's good art directors and bad art directors, and you're a good one. Because I mean, I guess because you're good at what you do as well, so it's easy to take advice from someone who's obviously very good. And anyway, he's art directing me, and it's making them all better. So thanks, man.
Chris, so how are things at this point now, and for you as an artist and
I think similar to everybody else. I never really went into lockdown. The studio's connected to my house anyway, so that was already good. Kids were at home. We live in the middle of nowhere. Nobody passes our house, so we don't see anybody anyway. So we were quite good. But I was going into the Batman show for Bottleneck, so I was busy with that.
It was fun.
So that was good. And then I've been working with a games company on some key art. So that was like a big project. And a few other things, I was supposed to have travelled down to London for some things, but that got put on hold. But yeah, you find things to keep yourself busy. If a client drops out, you find something to do yourself anyway. So it's not like I'm going to go and sunbathe in the garden. So yeah, no, it's been good.
Doaly?
It started off, I think the first week, like COVID really hit. It was like I had one project that got cancelled, paused, and it's like on pause until I guess cinema's back up and running. But otherwise, it's been a real busy time for me. Made the most of lockdown, and it was just like, let's do all the gallery pieces I wanted to do. So I've just been churning those out, and then it's been a case of a few book deals and a few things like that. So book covers, sorry, I mean. So it's been busy, yeah. I mean, my office is part of the house as well, so lockdown hasn't made any difference to that. And I live as a hermit anyway, so I've been happy. I've been fine.
Cool.
Okay, so speaking of all the work you've done so far and cinemas being back, has anybody been to the cinema yet?
No.
All nose around?
No, I'm not going anywhere.
I have.
I have been.
It was like,
what did you go to see? What did you go to see?
I went to see a couple of things, but the screen was empty. There was probably like 3 other people in a massive screen. I saw Dark Knight in IMAX, and I was probably one of 3 people in the screen. And
Eileen and I, I'm sorry. Eileen and I, we already watched Tenet, so that was kind of fun.
Is that any good?
Cool.
Or did watch you?
my review's online, so if you want to check that out.
It's good. It's not Inception good, but it's good.
Oh, I don't really like Inception.
Okay, so maybe this is not for you then.
I really liked Dunkirk. I thought Dunkirk was probably his best film.
Yeah.
Interstellar for me.
And I didn't like that one, so.
And Interstellar is right at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Because it's not 2001 and it wishes it was. We could go on and on about this, so let's not.
Sure. To round it up here with the Tenet talk, I have to say you have to watch an IMAX. Technically, it's a Marvel, and it's definitely worth it on that level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it regardless. But...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. Whether I watch it on cinema, that's the thing. It's just like
I wanted Bill and Ted, but it's not.
Oh, Bill
Not
and
in
Ted
England yet, is it? It's
No,
I
I
another
think it's the
few weeks.
16th or something like that. Yeah.
16th.
But
And all these people online saying it's great
I
fun.
saw a press screener and it was fun.
There's a lot of good cameos in that, I hear. Like Win Butler from Arcade Fire, Dave Grohl's in it. That's all I need to know, Dave Grohl's in it.
Spoilers, yeah.
Oh, sorry, those have gone viral, for those shots. Okay.
I
I've
haven't
not
seen
seen
that.
anything
That's
it.
apart
Is a
from like
spoiler.
people giving it the thumbs up and everything.
Sorry,
But I've not.
sorry.
I'll
Okay.
give it a thumbs up as well. It was good. Review's gonna come soon.
Cool.
All right. So how's everybody work-wise? I mean, we heard just a lot of stuff came out, and you all work differently. When we look at Eileen's work, she, as Gareth mentioned, she's almost digitally, or has just a couple prints, and something is coming up soon. We're going to talk about that later today, I think, or is it tomorrow? Later today.
Later today. I'm excited for you, Eileen.
Thank you.
You can always come on with Vice Press and do some posters with us.
This is
Happy to.
Cool.
Happy.
There you go. That was a good business call.
see, I love it when a plan comes together.
There's actually more coming this year. So you know, and it's funny because Gareth, I know we briefly touched it, but for me, I got into the whole world through alternative movie posters, but my focus was never on being a gallery artist, but I wanted to go into key art, into, you know, kind of bringing a more artistic vibe to the official posters that just aren't as pretty. So I that was my main focus, and the gallery stuff just kind of happened on the side, and it's fun. It's, you know, I love what you guys do, and I don't have the patience for, since I'm more on the minimalist side of things, I don't have the patience of, you know, Matt and Chris and Doaly, and oh my God, your work, and Matt, of course, you guys are amazing, but I don't have the patience for that. So I'm gonna, you know, stay in my little minimalist bubble and break into galleries here and there, but not making it a focus.
Hey, it's easier for screen printing. The minimalist.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have been screen printing myself in the past. It's super fun. Like, if I could do that myself, I would. It's just so much stuff you would have to set up. So, but yeah, no, it would be good for my kind of work, working minimalist and stuff. But yeah, it's just the official work has been so much that it wasn't even a question if I can, you know, do stuff for fun.
Who was all like, who's still doing pencil drawings or like other materials from the people that are on the show? I mean, Matt is probably doing only digital, except his like rough sketches.
Yeah.
But,
I only do thumbnails in pencil.
Yeah, Doaly, how you same with you, or?
Yeah, for like when I'm doing a poster, so it's generally like a doodle on a post-it note, and then I go straight to digital. I have started going back to doing like more pencil work, but that's more for fun and for other parts of like work. But it doesn't necessarily lead to the final piece that, you know, for a poster.
Mm-hmm. And Chris and Matt, what do you?
Yeah, I did a job just recently with about 39 watercolors in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which almost killed me. Yeah.
That's your horses, Chris?
No, that's an experiment for something else.
They're fucking amazing. Oh, sorry. They're
Damn it!
They're amazing.
Hey, me.
That's one print in the charity jar.
Yeah, literally.
Right. Sorry, they are amazing though.
Yeah, but cheers, fucking cheers for that. No, yeah, that's just an experiment for something else. So that's what's moved me on to getting different watercolor brushes and inks and playing around with that. But Digital's easier. Everybody knows. I can send a digital file via email to a client, and a client can sign it off. And
true indeed. But how's that on the level? I mean, do you like to work with other materials and other methods in that regard?
I think if it suits the subject, then you can get some really good brushes, Carl's brushes, and all that kind of stuff, which are really good at simulating things. But nothing beats getting a piece of paper and some ink and just rushing it onto a piece of paper and then getting it onto the computer afterwards. And it makes you think differently. It moves you away from the desk.
I mean, you get some artists where they design the poster, then they go and paint it, and then the painting becomes the screen print.
Well, it works. Every method works. I don't think there's a right method. You can lay out the composition on a computer. It's quite good. Print it out, stick it on a light box, trace the bits that you want. I think you try different things all the time.
Eileen, do you dabble yourself? Like, do you draw analog or not at all?
Oh, I do. Whenever there's like, I think it always depends on the situation, on the project. If there's like a client that wants, quick ideas and just, concepts, then I would scribble it down and like either do it digitally or just on a piece of paper, scan it and send it over. But usually it's more, I do have more time, so I skip that and basically just jump right in. So it depends on the project, really.
Okay. I had just had a long talk with Maxifunk Orlando Orsina, and his philosophy is in terms of when he works, because he did some ballpoint pen drawings, and he was like saying in terms of if you make a mistake, you cannot erase that mistake, as it is in life. Do you wish, if you work with other methods, that you could Control Z the whole thing, or do you think the same way?
Yeah, well, I do a lot of work on the iPad and Procreate, and so now when I do try and draw on paper, I tap 2 fingers on the page to undo. Like, I'm doing it all the time, which is shocking. But I wish there was a Command Z. I get very frustrated with it, but I'm losing touch with it, so I'm trying to get back into traditional drawing now, because you can't forget how to draw and be a fucking illustrator. Like, that'll just be a total make you take. So
did you study that, Matt, or?
No, I did go to art college many moons ago for a year, but I got kicked out.
Okay, for what? Swearing?
Yeah, swearing too much. No, it didn't work out for me. They did offer me a repeat place. Actually, I was the first person in the history of that college to be offered automatic repeat place without having to apply and all that. And I said, no, you're grand, thanks. Okay. Long story, long time ago.
That sounds like a good story. We will maybe cover that on the Dropcast in the future.
Yes, please.
But the other artists, Doaly, Ferg, and Chris, do you wish there was a control key, or do you live your life the way it's going to turn out?
From a digital point of view, I mean, it's one of those things that I never draw like the first line and the first line's perfect. It's always a case of sketching it out and getting it perfect over time. So yeah, Control Z is perfect. When I've been doing more like the traditional stuff, I have been like thinking about it. Could I Control Z that? But then you try to just make the best out of the worst situation, and it's the perfect stuff is never perfect because you try and make that. It's whatever it turns out to be. So it's just fun. I mean, when I'm doing sketch work, I'm just having fun. It's not necessarily for a project, so that's just me trying to learn and get better at it. And the digital stuff is there to be a particular way.
Ferg, do you have something to go to when you don't want to do something digitally? Do you have do you like to do airbrush, watercolor, something, or is it all
pencil,
whatever's
around, marker pen, just whatever. Just do thumbnails, literally like stick men. Because when I'm doing stuff like that, is to get a composition in my head, so it'll never look good. It's just like it'll be like a shape. It's like with the Star Wars one, Darth Vader would have been just like a squiggle, and in my head I knew that was Darth Vader, and that's where I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
So they hardly ever go to clients.
When I saw that scribble, that's exactly how I do my scribbles too. I was like, yep, that totally works.
I did while watching the film. So I'm watching the film, doing scribbles, and then there's the scene with the meditation chamber, and I was like, that's a cool shape. And I did it in like 5 seconds, and then I was like, and I just ran upstairs and then started doing it digitally after straight away.
So is there for anybody of you, is it a challenge in the future that you want to go for in terms of like material, method, or idea that you want to explore that you usually wouldn't because you're, let's call it like the daily jobs you do that differ from that?
For me, it's like I said, trying to get back into the traditional stuff so I don't forget how to do it. Because the further along I go, the deeper into digital world I'm going. Like I'm getting into 3D now and stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. But like I am forgetting how to draw on paper. And so I have on my Facebook group, I said, make some suggestions, and I'm going to do an ink drawing every day. Mm-hmm. And I did one. And I thought it was so shit that I haven't been able to bring myself to do another one. But I'm going to try. It's just, I struggle.
I'm going to find you.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to actually try and stick with that now and do one a day and post it regardless of whether I think it's good or bad. I'm definitely my own worst critic there too. So I could be not putting up stuff that maybe is okay, but I just don't personally. My goal is to get back in touch with being able to draw again on paper. It's not that I can't anymore, but I'm out of practice.
There was a question from the audience in your work process. I wanna throw it in there. Do you guys listen to music, podcasts, films? Does it help you, or you just basically live in silence? Let's start with Doaly. What do you do while?
Generally, when I'm working, it depends on what I'm working on, but generally it's a case of if it's the film, then I'll have the soundtrack of the film playing if I really like the soundtrack, because it kind of gets you into the mood, and it's like you've already watched the film and it kind of keeps you in that place. But otherwise, generally there's always a podcast going on, there's always music going on. I can't generally work in silence, so there's always something, whether it's a film or there's Netflix or something playing in the back.
Is there a certain podcast you listen to, or like fantasy football, or?
No, football. I mean, a lot of things is entertainment based. So whether it's video games or whether it's film based, it's that sort of genre of things.
Okay. Eileen, for you, what is it like?
Same. When it's a movie, it's definitely the soundtrack just to get in the mood. If it's anything, if it's like edits or stuff that is not heavy on the creative soul, podcasts, German ones, English ones, movie related, comedy, whatever comes up.
Matt, and I know you're a big metal head. Are you playing metal all day then while you work?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Especially if I'm stuck, I'll just listen to angry metal music.
What kind of angry metal music?
All sorts. I really like this band called Death Haven. They're really good.
Death Haven, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but podcasts. So when I'm working normally, I listen to a podcast called Mission Log, which is these two guys going through all of Star Trek from the very beginning, episode by episode, film by film. They're on to Deep Space Nine at the moment, but they started with the original series, so they've been doing it for years, and that's a nice thing to listen to.
Okay.
But usually it's just angry music because I'm angry about some stupid feedback or something.
Me messaging you.
Yeah. Having to do separations for screen
exactly.
Stuff like that.
By the way, Matt, when we talk on a podcast about your flat file, your do-it-yourself flat file.
Oh, that thing behind me there.
Exactly. For the people to see, we show that in my podcast, and people are asking me about it and which IKEA things it is. So they want to recreate that because it's a super good idea.
It's a desk top, and then the legs are from kitchen cabinets. So like a kitchen cupboard. Yeah. They have the little legs on to keep them off the ground. So it's just those stacked up.
That's
there you
so
go.
Smart.
Oh,
So easy, so smart, and keeps your prints safe.
He's also very pro IKEA frames.
Yeah.
I obviously have a secret contract with IKEA.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, it's very suspicious.
Yeah, you should do like a poster mid-century IKEA stuff for them. Maybe they sponsor you then. But coming to Chris, what do you like to listen to or do while you work?
I kind of scour Amazon Prime for all the old rubbish films.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even B films; they're like C films.
What's the last one you saw?
I rewatched Naked Lunch the other day, which was good while I was working. Okay. But I tried to pick films that aren't distracting, so I can just listen to them. I can listen to explosions or bad dialogue, nothing that's going to kind of distract me from work. It's either that or just kind of politics on radio, so I can swear at things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Matt, what do you swear at while you work?
Everything.
Yeah, basically just sit here going. Mostly a bit of everything, but mostly music or occasionally silence. If I forget to put the music on, it's not kind of a choice. I'll just sit here and go, geez, I've just been sitting in silence for 2 hours. I'll play some music. Yeah, but, I'm a big music fan, so I'll listen to a lot of music.
What kind of music?
All kinds. Yeah, a bit of a music. Well, I mean, I suppose we all are, and it's all subjective. But yeah, I'd be big into music and all sorts of music.
Yeah. Okay. Gareth, you wanna?
I was just going to say, so in regards to music, so during the quiz later, we'll have a playlist going. I've got invited a lot of unsigned bands to submit stuff to do a playlist, so we'll have an AMPjam playlist which we'll put out. So yeah, just that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Every artist that's gonna put on one of their favorite tracks at the moment, and then.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Animals Are Leaders. They're pretty cool.
Okay, you say so. I'll take your word for it.
It's just like weird progressive rock music. They're just like jamming, basically. It's really cool.
And for the people who don't know, the Ferg worked for a long time in a record store, so he knows his business.
I hated working in a record store. I didn't know anything. People would ask me questions. I don't know. I just put CDs out in
take
pockets.
It or leave it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know anything.
I know the feeling working at places where you just don't want to work, but it pays the bills at least a little bit.
I hope your boss isn't watching this, Tom.
What's that? My boss?
I hope you could be without a job on Monday.
No, she's not watching. That's not true for my actual job right now. So I'm fine with that. They appreciate me because I do a lot of stuff. Even though I do this on the weekend, I also work, and in the breaks I work for the company. I mean, it's the state of Germany, so well. So we talked about a lot of your creative process and what you've been through. Do you see a total difference in the push of digital media in terms of speed to get the products out? Do you think it's a good way the way the business works? You all work in to go down this route. I mean, Matt said earlier he likes to go back to the traditional stuff to like have a clean slate again, maybe in that regard. But do you think it's going to go away at some point?
No.
It's a no. Can somebody elaborate on that?
It's like when Kindle came out and everybody said, "Oh, that's the death of books," or when CDs came out and everyone said that's the death of vinyl. It's not.
But is it going to be more niche? Let's put it that way, like analog art.
No, I think analog, or traditional is the precursor to going to digital. You never generally start. Oh, I want to draw. Let's just start on digital. You always had an interest in it as a kid or whatever, and you start with your crayons and your pencils. So that's always going to be there. And I think it's great to learn off of that and then move to digital. It's harder starting on digital and going backwards.
We're like physical beings, aren't we? So we like to touch things, feel things.
Creation.
And that's part of it, especially with stuff like screen prints and things like that, because they're tactile, which you wouldn't get with an LCD panel on your wall that you just change the pictures on. And I guess some people could do that. I know cinemas do that now, where they don't have posters anymore, do they? They just have a panel that changes the screen. But when it's in your own house, people want something that's personal to them almost. So it needs to be real and tangible.
How do you feel about that, Eileen, in terms of that you rarely have a screen printout? Seeing your work mostly digital.
I mean, personally, I don't mind, because again, it was my decision to go down that route. I don't know. I mean, it's different purposes, screen prints and stuff like that. It's not a marketing tool per se. Like, the movies usually already came out a long time ago, so it's not for actual marketing. I don't know. I don't think they're like, you know.
But let's look at you, for example, you do a lot of tribute posters. And,
yes.
By the way, I told the story earlier. I almost had the chance to meet Tom Holland today, and I wish I had your Uncharted poster, but that's another story. But yeah, so you do a lot of digital stuff, and like actual posters that are in the cinema are gonna come to the cinema. How's that in terms then? I mean, you do the only digitally.
What do you mean?
You just because you were talking about like older poster or like older films for posters for older films, but these are all new. Does it change anything then?
You mean no, I meant like screen printing. Like when I look at you know the screen printing collector world. That is not for actual marketing. It's for collectors. It's art produced for one reason and one reason only. To be on people's walls or not, because they put it in a little cabinet, and that's the sad part for me. That's why I never got into collecting, because
come on, I don't have any room anymore.
I know you change your place a lot, but that's so sad. Whenever I see like in these groups, there's like, you know, tons and tons of posters just lying there in a closet somewhere. I'm like, that's art that's supposed to be on the walls, and I get that you don't have that much space on the walls, maybe, but yeah, that's just a sad part for me.
It's definitely possible to straddle both worlds, because like I do lots of gallery stuff, but I also do lots of promotional giveaway posters, and like the Empire Strikes Back poster was exactly that. It was originally just going to be used to promote the film, but then it got made into a poster for sale after. So pictures are just pictures. It doesn't really matter where they are or how they're used, so long as people appreciate them for what they are.
I was going to ask, so when you are doing, because the digital physical difference in alternative movie posters does interest me, like is there a difference in creative process if you know something's just going to be digital, I suppose, other than we're thinking maybe about colors, but are there any considerations that any of you make if you're making something for digital, or if you're going to make something for to be printed?
There's technical things you have to know about: DPI, CMYK, RGB, all that kind of stuff.
Separations, yeah.
Words. No, I mean, no, you don't need to know about that at all. It's grand. You just make whatever you want, and then you get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
I love your honesty. And I guess the other thing is do you see that is there an increasing role for alternative movie posters in film marketing in a digital point of view?
Hugely.
Yeah.
If you guys could talk more about that, I'd be because if you watch something like I think we mentioned like 24 by 36, a movie about movie posters, and that documentary towards the end of it talks about the studios haven't cottoned on yet. They might do it as a giveaway or whatever. That's and they did a focus in the documentary. They do like a focus group, and people are going, I think it makes it look like the film's animated because it's been drawn and whatever. So yeah, if you could talk about, have you noticed the change? Has it been like, is there an exponential increase? And
I know really when it changed was around about 10 years ago. This is what I think is with the rise of social media, because obviously you've got fans posting stuff that they've made themselves, but also the studios cotton on that's like a story, and it's like a direct line to people who love the property. So it's better for them to do something like the poster posse stuff or whatever, because it feels more genuine, because it's people that actually love doing it. It's not like just a work for hire thing. So then it's like a whole new level of marketing, because there's a narrative to it, there's a name to the artwork. Whereas back in the day, people like Drew Struzan, nobody knew who he was. But now people do, and it's mostly because of social media. So social media is good for us. It's not particularly a good thing for society, but it's good for us.
So what happens with those when you're doing? I mean, and this goes out to everyone, obviously. When a film starts to get, do you ever get briefs before a film has even been teased in any sort of way? I mean, there are some alternative movie pieces. I think of one that one that I felt was far better than the film that actually came out was Jurassic World with Mark Englert's Jurassic World. I thought that was an incredible poster, and that was done as that was the teaser poster. That was done as the teaser poster, and it was a screen print. It was released it was free at San Diego Comic-Con. But do you get briefs come in before a film is even before there's any marketing out for a film whatsoever, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done, I think last year I did some work which was pre-production, so it was still working on, film hadn't even started shooting, but they wanted some look and feel things done just for the visual language of the film, so that was interesting to do. It's so early on that, you're really setting out what the language is. And other things have come through where it's been a case of, okay, we've only got, say, a trailer to go by. A lot of the times it's generally the trailer, you get that, and you get to scroll the internet and see what's out there, and that's generally the time when a post is put together, from my point of view anyway.
Yeah.
And how do you make sure that it is, we talk about, this phrase, alternative movie posters. If you're given something where there's so little out there at the point that you're doing that work, how is it still alternative? I know that might be really deep. Do you get what I mean?
It's not a big agency making it. It's not a big agency that's like directly hired by the studio, and it filters down to various different art directors and designers, and then it can get watered down. What makes an alternative movie poster, it's not really that it's alternative, that it's like one person doing it.
Shouldn't it be an independent movie poster?
So it's like one person's vision, one person's sort of idea for the composition, and then you're going to get feedback from the studio, obviously. But for me personally, when they hire me, it's because they want me to do something in a style that I've done before, because it's like identifiable or whatever. So that's what it is.
There's lots of rules as well when you're working with a marketing company on a film. I worked on Deadpool 2, and a lot of my ideas were rejected because they're not allowed to show guns pointing at people, because there's rules about this, and you're not allowed to show blood. It can be green, but it can't be red. There's loads of bizarre marketing rules.
Well, video game rules is there as well, right?
And when I was working on, we came up with some brilliant ideas with the marketing company, and they were really open to everything, and we went as far as we could go. And it's just got to be careful, because it's going to be shown on TV. Kids might watch it. It's got to be target market. And it is fun to play in those rules, and it is fun to try and subvert them. But at the end of the day, they are regulated by governments and countries. So, that's like Matt says. When you get one person and it's his vision of that, and nobody's telling him what to do, what they shouldn't do, that's a real alternative movie poster.
Yeah, I think there is, because I wouldn't call, when an indie, because I do this quite a lot actually, then an indie filmmaker approaches me and says, hey, I don't have any material yet, I don't have any actors, no trailer, nothing is produced yet, but I want a teaser poster. Usually they do these for, production purposes, so they find producers that will invest money, stuff like that. Those I wouldn't call alternative movie posters, it's pitch posters. It's basically stuff to sell your material for these people. Alternative movie posters for me, and I would agree with Chris here, it is something that came from you without any direction.
Yeah.
not really, because as Ferg said, it's all about they hire you for your style. I had Disney come back to me with a posse and say, oh, no, we want SG posters style. You know, so they hire you for that specific kind of art. And that is what I would call an alternative movie poster. Everything else is either a pitch poster or, you know, something like that, something in the lines of production of a movie.
Is that a nice feeling when you know, we want SG posters as style, you know? That...
It's awesome, but it's also like, but I want to try something else too.
But this is the new me.
Yeah, it's fine though. Like it's, you know, it tells you that they still are interested in what you have to offer, so that's a good thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of directions, Pete Hendricks asked, how do you guys feel about that fans send in ideas or concepts for a print? Is that something you like, whatever, or?
It's tricky.
If it's a good idea, then you'll take it.
Yeah, and that's the tricky.
0%.
Exactly. If it's rubbish, just ignore it.
Yeah. I think it's actually good, comparable to authors and stuff. They usually on Twitter or social media in general, they always state, please don't send us ideas. Don't send us, you know, scripts. Don't send us treatments, whatever, because you can get sued once any idea from those things end up in your own piece of work. They can sue you. So personally, if someone sent me their idea, I would suggest, hey, you know, do it yourself. Don't send it to me, because, you know, I wouldn't use it, because, you know, you don't know if they, you know, trademarked it or not trademarked, but copyrighted the idea or anything, you know, which is usually impossible. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I wouldn't want to end up, you know, in a hassle there.
There came up a great story in the chat from Ben Bow. He
Ben Bow. Sorry.
For Uniquely Geekly, for the people that don't know, he came up with a concept for Jock's Empire, and he had a concept too, and they put the concept to the audience at the MondoCon panel, and they choose Ben Bow's concept, and he still has the Stickman drawing. He sent him somewhere. So Ben, you hear this right now. Please get that ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that, Ben. I was going to say that reminded me, like, people submitting concepts and, you know, going, oh, what if you did this poster? Just reminded me of that
and
family.
Speaking of, I'm sorry. Speaking of that concept, having people come together and get in commissions. Is any of you who's still doing that? I know Matt is not. Matt Ferguson is not doing that anymore, right?
No.
Okay.
I've got my own company now, and so I can just do what I want.
Bowler.
And earlier on in my sort of time doing posters, I did a few, but the problem is with doing these commissions is A, they're not official, and they all want like logos and titles and stuff on, which is really like a big no-no. And B, it's a group of people and they all want to have a say. So whenever I did one, I was like, none of you get to have a say. If you even try, you're out. So.
All right. Yeah. Is the rest with the rest, or is there still doing commissions or on that kind of level?
No, I haven't done any for years. I think the last one I did, I've done 2 in total, and they were fine in what they were. I did say to them, I have a particular way of working and what I do. So if you're after that, then great, that's what you'll get. And the only thing that I actually got back from them was like whether they wanted a title or not, and they was like, okay, let me make room for that. But it's just one of those things, time constraints and everything else, and just being luckily busy enough, I haven't had the chance or wanted to go back to that sort of that way of working.
Chris?
Yeah, I like taking on commissions where for a film that doesn't get much love. So there's like 6 or 7 people that really like this one film from 1970. You know, and I love taking on those things because it's more passion than anything. And if we're all on the same page and I'm a fan of the film, but I won't take a commission on it, you know, it's just a payday, so can you just do another Batman or something like that? It's kind of like, no, it's got to be something I love as well.
Okay, how's it, for example, when you have those like those few people who want a movie from the 70s? Do you always like the stuff, or do you just like that those few people love it and you try to make it work?
Yeah, I mean, they're obsessed with that film, and so I'll go and watch the film, or I might know of the film anyway, and then we'll just chat around what they're thinking, and it'll be a property that nobody's ever heard of before, or it's lost in obscurity. I won't take on people saying, "No, can you do the latest Marvel thing and this, that, and the other," because I can do those officially anyway if I want to.
Yeah.
But it's nice. Somebody came and said, "Can I do Phantasy Star Online?" Which I used to play on the Dreamcast quite a lot. And it's only a small group, and it's not a lot of money, but I really want to play around with that.
Okay. And and you always obviously love to draw some potato mashers, so it's one of your sessions.
Yes, that's my fan group's fault.
That's Tom Chester's fault.
Tom Chester, shout out Tom Chester.
Tom Chester's. Hopefully we'll have him. We'll have him at the next event actually.
How about Eileen and Matt? Are you doing that in some regard?
I feel like it's
like I. Huh?
No, I was saying, it's like people are like, no, governor. I've not done any. I've not done any commissions. No, sir.
I have been approached, and I was curious about knowing what it's all about because I was a bit clueless. But the thing that does put me off is this same thing that Ferg talked about there, was that if you have 20 people in a group, you have 20 art directors, and I could not be doing with that. It would very much be, I'd love to do it, but you just got to let me do my thing, please. But
isn't that different now, since there's or not in every group, I guess, but since we have you have a commissioner who does all the handling, this person is the only one you talk to?
I don't know, I'm completely clueless. You're better off out
of it.
Really?
Just carry on working for me.
I have to say, I have the Civil War I have here behind me. It's by Jay Lee, and I heard, for example, this commission took 6 years to make. 6.
Is that the artist's fault or the
I heard it's the artist's fault. It did this came out the Civil War, and at the same time they had The Force Awakens, which took basically all sequel movies to come out.
I've heard that story. Yeah, I think it's the commission groups, depends on the commission group and who's running it. I've heard some great stories and some great art that's come out of it, and I've heard stories like that where it's been years in the making.
And I heard Jay Lee was not in high regard there.
I don't know.
This guy's doing amazing. Sorry, shoot.
No, carry on. Just saying, there's been some great art that's come out of it. So I would never say there's something wrong with the art that comes out of it. It's just, if the group works for you, then that's great. But just, I think when you're working with studios and so forth, sometimes it's frowned upon, especially if you're working on one of their properties.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's people like Christopher Cox and these guys are doing awesome stuff in them. Sorry.
Yeah. Eileen, how's it for you? Do you do commissions?
I don't. Would you? I am approached quite a lot, but I always say, sorry, I don't have the time. But it's actually a mixture of Ferg's, I don't feel like being art directed by 20 people. Doaly's, I don't want to upset my other clients. It's a mixture of these reasons for me. And I personally, I'm lucky enough to be busy enough to not need commissions, period. It's not a field I would go into, because it feels like it can be a whole lot of trouble for not as much money anyway, but also if you're unhappy artistically, that's just sad. So I don't know. No.
Okay, thank you so much. What I wanted to talk about with you guys is more on a level of diversity. I mean, we have not so diverse round of people here, but
there is a slightly innocent reason for that, and that is that I invited everybody that I met at Thought Bubble the previous year, and I'm very sorry. And there will be a lot more diversity in all future AMPjam events.
Yeah, we try to rectify that in the short amount of time we had, and we have Doaly here who represents as a diversity, and Eileen, of course, and the rest is just us white people. But how do you see that in terms of the business and the industry? since we have you hear mostly about male artists, and I, for example, for the podcast I always try to switch it. One time I interview a male artist, and then the other time I interview a female artist, and it's like getting very short on female artists right now. And yeah, and I can tell by the views and of those podcasts that they don't get the love they deserve. So how do you see that? And
well, at Vice Press, I don't know if James has mentioned this before, we are consciously trying to hire more women, more people of colour. There's an artist called Tracy Ching who we're working with, and she knows so many awesome artists, and I talk a lot with her about people, and she's put me on to loads of artists that we've hired and stuff. And it's not even so much just about getting diverse people in that way. You get more diverse artwork because these people tend to do things that are different to like the mainstream white male style. So we've got some really interesting stuff in the works. It's just, like you say, it's quite hard to find people because they don't get the same sort of visibility online. So having somebody like Tracy help has been so incredibly helpful.
Eileen, I'm so grateful to have you. You know, but one of the things. Andy Roberts, who did all our design work, he is also involved in the Birmingham Design Festival, and he said that, and this is a question I'd like to put to you, is that she said any number of every guy you ask will basically say yes, but because of the inequality there is within the industry, women are put off. So you actually have to ask a substantial number of times the amount of women that you want in order to get the number of women that you want. Are you put off by? I mean, as I say, I'm grateful to have you, but is it off-putting?
What exactly?
So, is it off-putting when if you're invited to an event, purely the prospect of it being something that where there's an imbalance?
Nah, I mean, the thing is, I'm for quite a few years now trying to, get more women into the spotlight, more minorities, and well, basically my whole Twitter is just other artists and a little bit of me thrown in there, just because I feel like that's the only way to move forward with the community, is to lift each other up and not, being so close-minded and just using it as or using social media as basically a portfolio for yourself. I do feel like there's still a lot to do on the female field and also people of color field of things. The problem is that we're catering white men. I don't think it's necessarily the artists themselves. I just feel like it's the people, and this is the poster community, the people buying the stuff are also white men. So they tend to buy from white men. So it's kind of, how do we get, more women or more people of color interested in pop culture and this kind of, so it's not only there's no artists, it's also there's not as many people interested in that, so it's a very big thing. But I feel like it's one thing I'm trying to in the future is to get bigger artists or more established artists in the gallery world and stuff to maybe talk about this as well, and maybe feature a female artist as well. And Matt, I think it's awesome that you're looking into this with Vice Press and making it a point, because that, I feel like, and I know we're going to talk about this with more art gallery later as well.
I was just about to mention that.
I feel like we need the galleries to pay more attention to,
super important.
There's like more people than Tracy Chang and like the 3 other big artists that are Mondo people. So it would be nice to have a little more diversity there in the in both race and sexuality or whatever. It would be nice to have a little more diversity. Yeah.
It's going to get more interesting artwork, though. That's like
Exactly.
purely from a business point of view. Already, the stuff that's coming in is like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah. That's not like anything we've put out before. So it's it's just.
And I'm so sad sometimes when I see posters coming out, and I'm like, not loving the stuff that's coming out, but it's like, oh, that one again. It's like, ugh, I'm kind of getting tired of seeing the same style over and over again with big releases. Like, it's okay. It's not that they shouldn't have the jobs. They should have the jobs, but maybe just, a little more stretched out, a little more diverse, a little more, more new art, more, I don't know. I feel like the whole scene could use it.
Yeah. I think from my point of view, it was never initially a thing in a sense. I think over the last few years, the whole thing about having diversity in all industries has become more of a shouting point. But initially I was happy in doing what I was doing. I never liked trying to promote myself as being, an Indian artist or an artist of color. And then there came a point where I started doing a few talks and stuff, and people were like surprised that I was Indian and so forth. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure why, but it was like, then I understood it because I never put myself forward in that way. I was always behind the logo, and the art did all the talking for me. And then after doing a few talks, and there's people saying, okay, there's a place for me. I can actually do this as well. I'm a person of color, so it's like in the last few years, I've put myself forward a bit more. I'm putting myself out there, saying like, yes, everyone can do it. I've done it. Having more talks, being in front of the camera a bit more, and just allowing that presence, so people feel that there's always room for more people of different, sexuality, color, and gender within the industry. So I think that kind of helps as well. From my point of view, that's where I'm trying to do a bit more of.
It seems like it's something that where it's required, especially of the galleries, and to be incredibly proactive. And that reason being, if you think about the music industry has this problem too. You think about festival lineups and whatever. But if I see, in terms of it being, it's the artwork that you see first. Okay, so I might see a piece of artwork before I hear the name or before I see the face. With music, it's you know whether you've heard the person or you've seen the person first. You know what I mean? So I feel like that the music industry has a tough got a tough job that they really that they need to overcome. They need to balance out. As I say, festival lineups is something that is pretty it's pretty poor. You look at the you see like a Reading festival lineup and there's 3 acts out of the 50 that you see have got women in them. But because, as I say, because it's art first, you've got to really go out there and search. It's got to be, as I say, proactive.
Matt, I want to say, Matt Ferguson, I want to say, could you, with Vice Press, get a Kiko Sternberger on and have their portray of a woman on here, of a lady on fire, maybe as a poster? That would be great, or some other stuff of hers. She's awesome. I really like her.
I'm always open to everything.
Perfect.
She's
great.
Like, I don't know if you're familiar with her work, but she's like the poster queen of. Yeah. She's like on fire. I'm not sure how interested she is in the art side of things, like the community-based stuff, because I know she's very busy, obviously. But it would be awesome to see some official prints of her.
Yeah, that would be very great if that would happen. I forgot what I wanted to say now. Oh my God, Gareth, your turn. You have to take over now.
Oh damn! Hi guys. Hi. How's it going? Hi. Okay. Well, why don't we cover passion projects? I'm sure Matt, you're obviously getting into posters now.
Which Matt?
I'm going to call Matt Ferguson Ferg. Okay. We'll try. And Matt Griffin. Hi.
Hello.
Matt Griffin. Okay, full names. We'll do full names.
The Matt. Call me the Matt.
The Matt.
Matt. I love that.
Call
the
me
Matt.
Just Matt.
I'll call you the Matt and Ferg Beer Matt.
Just call me Matt. Matt Ferguson. Just say my name.
Okay, say my name. Anyway, sorry, just happens. Right. No. So obviously, hopefully, you've got several passion projects ahead of you. Projects where you get to do a poster that relates to something that means so much to you. Whereas someone like Matt Ferguson has gotten to do quite a lot of those already.
Oh, I have thoughts about this.
Do you have some thoughts about this?
I don't know if the other people here have similar thoughts, but for me, when I take on a job, I'm in the lucky position to be able to say yes and no to everything. So obviously, I'm going to want to do what I'm doing because I say yes to it. And even if it's for a film that I don't really care about that much or haven't seen, like Hocus Pocus, I did a Hocus Pocus steelbook.
It's a great film.
I've only ever seen that film once, but my wife loves it, and she was like, "You're doing Hocus Pocus." Like, okay, I'll do Hocus Pocus. Watch the film; it's really good fun. And then I got into it, and I got into the details and working out at the graveyard and looking at the sets and stuff. And then it becomes a passion project anyway because I want it to be correct for the people that are going to buy the product. So for me personally, everything is a passion project.
Deep,
I think. Everything.
Well said.
I think that is a goal, right, to get there. So for me, I'm just finding my way into the poster world and loving every minute of it. But in the last 11 years of being a freelance commercial illustrator, I find the passion waning an awful lot, particularly in the last, actually, it coincides with getting more into posters. So the poster scene is exciting and it's fun and enjoyable, and there's this great community among the artists and the collectors. Everything about it is very enticing, and it's making me less and less passionate about the commercial projects I get. So I'm making the transition, hopefully, to doing less of one and more of the other. But occasionally in the commercial work, you do get the odd dream gig, and probably the one for me was the Dune book, because that was something a dream since I was 14.
Beautiful.
And I got to do that. So there's been one or two ticked off the list, but there's an awful lot of it where I have to motivate myself to get it over the line, and I just want to be doing the posters and playing in 3D all day, basically.
I want to come back real quick because I remember what I wanted to ask. A lot of artists, the life partners of artists are most of the time also artists or have something to do in a creative fashion. Not for you guys, I guess, since I see a lot of head shaking here, but I wondered how that is turning out, because I talked to Rory Kurtz on Friday, and his wife is also a creative person. And because I was wondering that in that regard, what since the man is is like in the middle of the picture, in the focus here, how that affects maybe the partner in terms of creativity and stuff like that. I was wondering. But if nobody has a partner who does creative work, this question is nonsense. But maybe people in the audience or artists on YouTube could answer that question for me. I'll give it right back.
I was going to say my ex-girlfriend was my bass player in my band, so that was a thing. But I suppose that's different because it's collaborative. Because that's collaborative, that means you just have more arguments, basically.
What I find useful with my wife is she's a barometer for me. So I'll show her something and she'll say, "That's shit. You can do better than that." So she's like my own art director. So that's like, I only got into this because of my wife. So I made her a picture of Samurai Jack in 2009 as a present because I was poor and I couldn't afford to buy her anything. So I made her a picture of a cartoon that we like to watch together. And she was like, "This is really good." And then her sister was like, "That's amazing. I can't believe you made that." And I said, "Oh yeah, I used to do video game artwork and stuff. I just don't do it anymore because I'm a bum." And then they went, "Oh, why don't you do it again?" And I went, "Okay." So it's good to have somebody to push you to do things that you might not be comfortable with doing. That's what my wife is for.
There's a wife question or a life partner question. Dave Skates asks, if you work from a home studio, does the other half assume that you sit around all day doing nothing until they get back? Or how's that in terms of productivity? Or could they expect you wash the clothes, you got the dishes done, you made lunch? I don't know. How's that?
I can't answer because I'm single, but also I think that's the overall freelancer artist idea, that people think you're sitting around all day and like not doing anything really. And I'm like, you have no idea how much I'm working. I mean, Tom, you know, for example, how much I'm working, like it is crazy. So nothing about the, you know, lazy stuff, because that's the thing. If you're working for someone else, you don't feel as much passion, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I work for my own clients now. I want to make my clients happy. So I put way more effort and way more work into it than I used to do at, you know, when I was working for other people. So I don't know. I personally feel like it is a misconception that we don't work. But again, I'm single. I can do what I want. So whatever.
So the people with life partners, chime in, please.
I work 12-hour days. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm working full time. In a sense, when I say it's not like 9 to 5, generally more than 9 to 5, just because you're driven by your passion. And like, if you have an idea at like 10 o'clock at night, I will come back into the studio and start working on it then. So it's hard to turn off from work and like personal life, because your work has become your personal life in a way. So you're always working, whether you're with the family or you're watching film, there's always a bit of your brain thinking of an idea on what to do tomorrow, or what to tinker around with the next piece.
God, it's so awful.
So yeah, we're always working,
So
whether
true.
we're sitting here directly, but I think we're always working in some fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it reflect on your partners though? Do they like, I don't know. That's what I ask. Like, for example, are the dishes done? If they go to work, basically, like out of house, are the dishes done? Is there lunch? Or like, do they expect something like that? Or do they know, oh yeah, so busy. I
try not to use any dishes during the day. If I have
okay, that's
cup,
clever.
That's a
I'll
good
have
idea.
that same cup in the entire day. So it's like, I'm trying to be as low maintenance as possible. So that argument can't happen that you've dirtied 5 dishes in the day. It's like, no, it's the same dish. Sometimes it's the same dish as yesterday, because it's just life's easier that way. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's why I only use water. So
yeah,
that works fine with glasses. And Chris, how about you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think everybody, Raid71, Julia, my partner, she actually rolls all the posters and handles an insane amount of emails that come through of people saying, where's this? What's that? Why is this not arrived? Why is this stuck in Canada? Why is this in, So yeah, she's the kind of the spokesperson, so I don't have to do the social media side of things.
Mm-hmm.
She's also much beloved with it seems within your Facebook group.
Well, I don't have that. I wish I could, but I don't have the time to start getting into in-depth conversations with people about, this print and that print. Where Julia's she's a font of knowledge. She can tell you which print was sold 5 years ago and where it's gone. And people are always saying, is this one on eBay legitimate, or is it a copy, or is it a sample? Things like that. So Julia's really good at things like that, and she helps me concentrate more on what I want to do.
Matt Griffin?
Well, from my point of view, I'm not working at home, so I go off to work the same as my wife does, but she's a primary school teacher, and the world that I exist in of either commercial art or pop culture art is like a completely different universe that she has no inclination or interest in, really. Mm-hmm. But where that is really beneficial is that I'm a complete dreamer and she's an absolute realist. So if I didn't have her, I would float off into the fucking ether. I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't think, that she's kind of the anchor and the dose of reality that I need every now and again. So I'll come home and I'll start talking excitedly about a print, and her eyes will glaze over, and then she'll tell me about something important in our lives that I need to know about.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Can't tell if she's watching or not from how you said that.
No, no. I hope not. I love you.
We'll give you the time code for that.
I have a great question from the audience, but before that, I wanted to know what goes up first, your children's artwork, or your own?
I have no artwork in my house.
I don't have a single poster of mine up in the house or anywhere. So yeah, it's a very easy one. There's one on like my whiteboard is my son's piece that stays up there. So the thing that I do for myself is like if I put my own work in front of me, all my pieces will end up being the same piece because I won't move on from it. So I try and forget about them and try and move on to the next one. That and I have a thing about putting things on walls and screws and stuff like that. So that's probably the reason. So children first always.
Matt?
My kid can't draw, so no. She's only 3.
I know, but
rubbish.
They
Come on, she just
they do
scribbles.
drawing exactly.
She
would
tries, but
would
she
you
doesn't
put it
know
up
any
on the
better.
fridge?
So it's all my pictures and a lot of Raid's. So her room is actually all Chris's pictures. It's like the Totoro and the Warship Down and stuff.
Chris, how
And
about
then
you?
it's my pictures in the rest of the house, but not necessarily because I want them up. But
Yeah.
my wife likes them, so
Okay, Chris.
which is nice to know that my wife.
Yeah,
likes what I do.
both of my kids are they're into the art. They're banned from the studio because they're always art directing what I do.
Oh, okay.
But they don't put that. It's funny enough because it's a role reversal here. They've got all Matt's Ferguson's work up in their room. They're
that's
like,
why.
Yeah, that's why I'm friends with Matt basically because our kids want to swap posters.
Yeah.
It's like
You've
like
got,
those.
the Finding Nemo one from you at Thought Bubble. She loves that poster.
It
so
is
much.
gorgeous.
Yeah, this like sounds like trading cards, you know. Oh, I'm gonna get the Matt Ferguson for the Chris Thornley.
Oh yeah, every time I'm going to Thought Bubble, they're saying, "Is Matt going to be there? What's Matt doing?" It's like, yeah, okay. So I'll go and have a word with him.
And Mr. Griffin.
No, it's a running joke in our house that I draw for a living and there's not one single piece of art of mine up in the house. We actually did a week ago put up one thing that I made back in 2012, a poster, and it's in the downstairs toilet, and that's it. There's nothing. My wife doesn't really, she's not into the stuff I make. She does like my Ignatius style. I've got this kind of whole other portfolio under a pseudonym, which is more mid-century cartoon style. She quite likes that, but
I like that.
Thank you. But there is nothing up as yet. But I'm doing something now. Only decided yesterday with Bottleneck that is specifically for my daughter that she's been asking me for Fiance, one of her favorite films. So should be up more up soon.
Speaking of that, there was a question from Stephen Sutcliffe, and he wanted to know, since Ferg did a piece for his daughter, one of one, are there any others of you who did one of one piece? Except Eileen, maybe, or maybe for a niece, I don't know.
Currently I've been working on a piece off and on for Frozen, which is halfway done, which is going to be a personal piece. It's not going to be something for sale, so that's something I'm doing for myself. I've got a piece which is for my son. He's in the piece, so that's another one that's just for him.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've done a couple from that point of view. I'm working on another one, so that's fun to do. Just having, it's not actually up on the wall anywhere, but he has it like in a postcard form. At some point I will do it for his bedroom and get it properly printed. So those are nice because he always has input, and it's like it's been it's still part of my portfolio now because I'm still very happy with it. Partly because he's in it. I think I like it more than anything else.
Yeah. The rest of you?
Yeah, I've done bits and pieces with my kids in, but I've been lucky. My kids they're into Spider-Man and they're into Marvel and things like that. So that's driven what I've done. But my youngest did ask for something the other day, but when I told him the price, he told me to start off.
I was going to ask because as we pointed out earlier when we were talking about diversity, about how it's all white blokes that are in the collecting community when you're doing, but when you look at someone like Raid, you do both very sort of violent looking stuff, if you're doing something like, I don't know, Judge Dredd or whatever, but then also you get something like Finding Nemo. Do you take different approaches, and do you get as much enjoyment doing something that's targeted at children, the film is targeted at children, to doing something that's more sort of grown up.
I think it's fun sometimes to break from the norm, and if your norm is, for a lot of my stuff, a lot of it is superheroes and things like that, but also films of a more grown-up nature. It's nice to break away from that and have a breath of fresh air, which can be like, you know, Disney properties and so forth. So they're always fun to tackle because you step out of your normal day-to-day and it refreshes you. So they're always a lot of fun. I think, yeah, they break up the day. And
your Toy Story piece.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it. I forget some of the things sometimes. But yeah, they're fun, and it's like when you get to go to the cinema and watch those same films with your kids, it brings more to the property that you enjoy, because you get to see it through their eyes a bit more.
Your Onward piece, Eileen, is awesome. I'd love to see that make its way to poster form, perhaps with a glow in the dark light, just to putting that out there.
Yeah, that was such a fun, because I think I turned in 2 concepts, and I think it was pretty much like that, like it was already pretty done, and they took it, no edits whatsoever, and just, yeah, that's it, things, bye. Okay, cool. So yes, if we can make that happen, that's one of my favorites too, because I feel like it could be really cool with a glow.
Yeah, that would just be, it would be incredible.
I heard the Ferg had some connections.
He's got fingers and pies. Yeah, it's all sorts of people.
Yeah. I have a question from Charm, Murugia, and Kevin Wilson. What's an IP that has been done to death that you all want to disappear for a while?
Joker.
All right.
Not even seen Joker, to be honest with you. It didn't interest me.
The fun was good, but I feel like, because I think there was a talent house contest, and whenever those pop up for a bigger property, there's like a billion posters online, and you're like, and I feel like Joker that was no idea not done.
See, I'm really surprised by that. I mean, that's probably because you've clearly seen more than, I've seen a lot of posters being done for like commissions and whatever, but in terms of licensed work, there's been like nothing yet. So I'm still waiting on one. Do you know what I mean? But sorry.
Didn't Jaxie Gregory do the Joker?
Licensed.
I think so, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was also Dark Knight.
From Poster Posse, there were 2, I think.
Yeah.
They were, it was Rich Babies.
As in the Posse, they worked on it with the studios from a marketing point of view.
Yeah.
But I guess from the print collector's point of view, I haven't seen a release myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would be wary of sort of shutting down any property, to be honest, because you never know what's around the corner. Somebody could just do something for Star Wars that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Or anything.
This is
like
maybe
this one
art,
guy.
after all.
Well, obviously you do there's things you just don't like, so yeah.
Like I remember one argument there was in one of the poster trader groups, and someone said, "Oh God, great, another poster of this property," and then someone chimed in and goes like, "That's fair enough. You've collected 50 posters and so forth, but for someone that's going to be their first poster of that property."
Yeah, there's millions of people interested in
so it's like,
these things.
From that point of view, it's not always for you, but for someone, that's the one that really said, "Okay, I'll buy that. That's the one I want." So. Yeah, I don't think there's a property that you should say, like everyone said, it's like they should kill altogether. There's always new and fresh takes coming out.
Are there any properties where we just haven't seen, like, I ask about, like, sometimes you talk about going definitive, but as you say, Matt, you can't, like, there could always be something that comes in.
Also, if I'm going to say, like, well, you've never seen a definitive Star Trek poster, then there's going to be an artist out there that thinks they did a really good Star Trek poster. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's why. But are there any properties that are
kind of community chit chat?
But are there
rubbish from this? There could be a much better poster. Well, somebody still made that one. It's not very nice.
But are there? So my question is: are there properties you think that are so far underserved by? Perhaps it's because the license just doesn't happen. I wasn't talking about going definitive, by the way. I mean, I mentioned it, but I wasn't talking about are there any properties that
I've really been wanting Doctor Who, like as official posters, and we did speak to the BBC, and then nothing happened. But I would like some interesting Doctor Who, like artwork, because there's lots of fan artwork and stuff, but there's not really much. You can get stuff like from just reproductions of cheap posters and stuff, official, but there's no like alternative. And that when we spoke to the BBC, they just didn't really get it, I don't think, what we were trying to do. But yeah, Doctor Who is something I would like to see alternative art for.
I'm quite surprised there aren't more alternative book covers, that collectors aren't into that. I mean, because there's some royalty-free books out there, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Moby Dick and all these things that are ripe for gorgeous looking posters with, Herman Melville, Moby Dick, the author and title on it. It's just, it hasn't really got into the
Black
scene.
Dragon did something of that ilk a few years back. I remember they were taking some stories which I think were public domain.
Stanislaw Lem and stuff like that. I was meant to do one, and I
we did a couple, but not. Because we're stuck in the world of the people. When you've got a company, the people buy, Marvel posters and Star Wars posters, don't they? So that's kind of your bread and butter. And then I might want to do a Lost World poster, which I did do because I really like the Lost World, the book. But we didn't sell a huge amount of it because it's not.
Man's just not there.
Flipping.
I was saying a little while back. I can't remember what film I was watching, but I was like, there just aren't enough Golden Age cinema sort of film, posters done for Golden Age sort of films, from the 40s and 50s and 60s as well. And
check out IgnatiusFitzpatrick.com because there's some Golden Age cinema alternative art going on there.
Okay, I will do that.
Not in print form.
Not in print form.
It's because it's all about the 80s, because it's the people that are of the age of buying, to have the disposable income to buy semi-expensive posters for their walls. They were kids in the 80s / early 90s, so it's going to be stuff like Steven Spielberg films and Star Wars and stuff, because that's like what they loved. So the older stuff, those people they're long gone or they're dead. So you're not going to sell posters, are you?
Before we have probably our last topic, I wanted to get into a little bit of the bots flipping and how that affects you as artists, and even in a sort of way, Matt, with Rights Press. Is that a certain thing you basically say, oh yeah, well, money is money, or do you are really mad about this kind of thing?
Generally it's one poster per person, and then also Shopify, which we use, flags up if it's like a dodgy sale, like they've used software or whatever, so then you can just cancel that and refund it. So that's how we deal with it. And then if you see someone selling something on eBay, you just have to go a little bit annoyed when it's right after a sale. If it's after 6 months or whatever down the line and they've had it and then they sell it on, so what? It's when people buy something with the express purpose of then selling it on for a profit, taking it away from somebody who wanted it for their wall. That's when it's annoying.
Is that in the terms of, for example, there was it's the latest example I can remember now, the Parasite variant that came out for, was it Thursday? People got, I'm gonna call it butthurt twice, because of some cancellation stuff like that. Would it be a better choice to have like all the groups that we're having? You have your group, Matt, the Matts have the group, Chris has the group, Doaly has the group, Eileen doesn't sadly have a group, but she is digitally.
Doesn't have one yet.
I have a site, but I feel like since I'm not, since I don't do a whole lot of physical releases, it doesn't really make sense for me. So.
Yeah. So, but the groups are there. Would it make more sense to like only sell there? Would it sell out, or is it?
Yeah, well, then you're limiting your audience, aren't you? Because there's people. I'm not making posters for my fans. I'm making posters for people who like the films that I'm making the posters for.
It took me. So I was going to say, it took me ages to find the Facebook groups. Like I'd known about alternative movie posters from 2014, and then I've only came into the groups 2.5 years ago.
We do limited pre-sales in the fan groups, so we'll go like say when Matt's next poster with us comes out, we'll do an allocation in his fan group. But then for those people to get first dibs on it, especially if it's something that might sell out. Yeah. But you also keep some to go for general sale as well. That's
yeah, I think that's a fair way to do it. So you're like the people that are really after it and they know and they follow the artist, they'll get their chance.
Yeah.
And it excludes it, the people that are trying to flip from that point of view, and it's more of a trusted relationship. But otherwise, there's not much you can do. It's like I've had last week I was on got a notification, oh, your name's been used on eBay. And it's like they were flipping my Jaws piece for a ridiculous amount. That's like there's people that are still asking me about it, and my APs are coming shortly, but I'm not making any of that money. The flipper's making all that money, and the person that could have bought it for that minimal fee initially, they're having to pay 4 or 5 times the amount. It just seems ridiculous.
ISO that Jaws, by the way. I did have a question just then in my head, and it sort of went for a second. Continue. Sorry.
Then let's talk about what is next on the menu. Things you can talk about. Like I would definitely want to hear some answers. Don't give me that NDA stuff. Let's start out with Doaly.
Oh God. I can't say names per se. I've just finished 2 comic book covers for Marvel, so they'll be coming out this year and next year. In between a few things, I've got a load of stuff coming out for the galleries from Grey Matter and Bottleneck. So stuff I can talk about initially. I know Batman Begins is coming.
That's right.
That's just been printed. And for Zavi, I've just done a Lord of the Rings that's coming out this month.
Oh, okay, cool. And
most immediate.
You already teased your Wonder Woman 84.
Yes. So
can we hear some ideas?
Yeah. So for 84, so there's going to be the poster. We're waiting to see when the film's going to come out and when it comes out, that sort of thing from a timing point of view. But we're doing a poster, and we're also doing a collectible plate that goes along with it. So that's fun to do something different than like your standard poster.
Oh yeah, that plate is so cool. I haven't seen that image of that plate. We'll retweet that.
How big is that? Do we have any any more details on it?
We're working at some things with production just because of COVID and all the factories being shut and stuff like that. But we're looking at around something between 8 and 10 inches, I believe.
Okay, cool. And is it going to be a timed edition?
I'm hoping so. On the print that we're looking at doing it timed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it's just going to be a plate.
No. So there's going to be a plate and a print. So there's different options that we're looking at. So I won't say it's 100% one way or the other. But we're definitely looking at options for timed on both. We'll just see what happens from a numbers point of view.
And they're also still working on marketing puns for the plate. As I said, they're not. They don't know if it's going to be limited edition or timed edition. Sorry, Dish.
That's the best thing about it. I'm going to use that. I'm writing that one down.
And I have a little teaser because we're working on something too. Eileen is part of it. Doaly is part of it. And I got the permission to tease a little something. Cool. I'm just going to hold it in the camera. It's not going to be seen here, but this is what we're working on right now. People might see it. There's going to be something.
Palooza.
Posse.
It's the Posse Palooza.
Well, like Poster Posse.
Exactly. So something cool is happening.
I designed the Poster Posse logo, don't you?
I know, that's right. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Free of charge.
So
you're welcome.
So something cool is happening. We're gonna have the logo soon, probably by next week, and we have some more details for you coming.
That sounds good.
And that's Doaly is involved, Eileen is obviously involved, and some cool online shenanigans as well. So, Eileen, what's up with you? What do you got coming? Eileen?
That's always my big problem is NDAs, obviously, because it's all the stuff that I work on is movie related, so I did, and that's actually something I thought about earlier. I actually did a private commission, and Tom, you know about this. I did a private commission for The Rock. A friend of his approached me, and I did something for him. I have no idea. I know it's off to the printers. I have no idea what's happening with it, and I doubt that The Rock is watching this, so I'm not spoiling any.
Come on the convention, Dwayne, if you are watching this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not gonna obviously be other. I mean, if he puts it on his story or something, you will see. But I don't know if you ever gonna see it.
Yep.
But yeah, besides that, just a lot of Disney Plus stuff coming up, like a whole lot of key art stuff. I do have the print that is coming out tonight. Also something else around Halloween-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things coming. It's just all under NDA.
Alrighty, Matt Ferguson.
I am working on Transformers, the movie, 1986, a poster, maybe some other merchandise for that as well. It's the 35th anniversary next year, so that's exciting. I'm working on the final Indiana Jones, Last Crusade. There is another one after that.
Did you pick for Last Crusade? Did you pick the idea yet? Because you asked, I think, on.
I'm doing Petra because it's a nice architecture. So there you go. And I'm doing Batman 1966. So I've done 1989 Batmobile, and then I did the Tumbler. Now I'm doing that Batmobile. Then I'll do the animated Batmobile. Might even do the Batman Forever Batmobile because it's a really cool Batmobile. So and then I'm working on a little, a die-cast model of the unicorn that I hide in all of my pictures and everything.
Is there going to be at some point, maybe that would be interesting, that if there's going to be like everybody's looking for it. Where's the unicorn? Where did you hide it? And is there going to be a solution, like a solution sheet? Where can I find it?
I don't even know where I put it half the time. Sometimes I don't even put it on because I forget. So there's the Back to the Future trilogy. I did it on Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. Forgot to put it on Back to the Future 1. And this guy was looking for hours apparently. And he couldn't find it. And I was like, I forgot to put it on.
You can stop looking now, Guy.
Yeah. I don't always do it because.
Okay, then Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Because I was wondering. Sometimes I look everywhere, but you put it in. Did you put it in the new one in the ESP?
Yes, it is in the ESP. It's very very small.
Yeah, it's in the space.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Chris.
NDA. Some NDA stuff.
NDAs are always good.
Yeah.
There's only
I'm only going to watch NDAs as well, but that's
For a second, I heard NBA. I thought, he's going to do NBA. That's going to be nice.
Sick.
So, Doctor Strange. I've just finished off that. I've got a vinyl figure coming out of the Charlie Brown mashup things that I do. I saw the production design for that, and that's been signed off.
That's the Plague Doctor, right? The Plague Doctor.
The Plague Doctor. Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, that'll be my first vinyl toy. So I'm excited about that. And then I think Bottleneck are going to do the lenticular Mr. Freeze. So
that looks awesome. The sample of that looks awesome with the snow globe and Batman inside the snow globe.
I've got a lenticular coming as well.
For what? Can you tell?
Yeah, Empire
Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind.
Cool.
Heard about that. Okay, and Matt, your turn.
So in terms of prints and stuff, Matt Berg, what can I say? You guys actually
remember you have to save some stuff for your session.
Oh yeah, I got to say.
Just say it again. Just say it again.
James and Matt talked about one which hadn't been out before, which was Lynch's June, which we're very excited about. Well, I'm very excited about it. Those guys probably aren't. I am.
I like it.
Which, yeah, thanks. So that will be coming out at some stage. There's another one for Vice. There's a beginning of October. There's one for Bottleneck. And then there's lined up the next few prints and properties to work on. And then, as ever, a load of book covers and some concept art for a TV show and bits and bobs. Plenty to be doing.
All right. Then definitely that's for mine. Gareth, do you have a question? I'll find out. The only question is, when can we expect the prequel trilogy? Matt, I think that's for Matt Ferguson for the Dutch Rudder. I think
Prequel trilogy? What, like Star
The
Wars?
Dutch Rudder, if that's Andrew
think-
Coughlin or Nathan Feast, there are two people who are constantly gunning for prequel prints.
I would say yeah. So
When I really need some money.
Thought you might say
okay.
that.
Probably.
Matt Ferguson is rich, people. He doesn't need money.
I reckon Chris's style would go really great with the Darth Maul piece, though. I'll put that out there. Just put that out there in the ether. There it is.
Okay. Gareth, you want to say some last words?
No, I mean, other than thank you so much. Not really. We're about to have a session of Chris all to himself, all to ourselves.
Hey.
But thank you so much for coming on, guys. Obviously, 1, 2, 3, well, 4 of you still have got your sessions to go. So and so we're going to see Eileen in an hour. We're going to see Matt and Doaly tomorrow. And Ferg, thank you so much for everything today. Obviously, there's for Ferg, there is his Jaws print is up on vice-press.com.
Yeah,
it went
buy
live
it.
45 minutes ago. It went live.
Everybody that's
Buy
watching.
He's
it.
rich, but
buy
still,
it.
like, money's good. So
Money
It's
is
not.
good.
It's not about the money. It's about everybody having my
about-
pictures in their house.
It's not about money. It's about the stuff you
it's
can
not
buy with
money,
it.
it's ego. So
It's fully ego.
You know, I got
It's
that.
all about the attention.
I got the Matt Ferguson wall, so you want me?
I have Doaly here, there.
Oh, thank you.
It's a Wonder Woman, isn't it? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Wonder
Yeah,
Woman.
everyone has that
This
one.
is Sam Gilby's. What's it called?
I don't know.
4 Boys and the Dead Body. Stand by me.
Stand by me. Yeah.
I've got a picture of Wonder Woman's invisible ship just behind me. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
yeah, good isn't it?
I thought it was the Invisible Man.
I've just got my own artwork behind me because, like we said, ego.
Yeah. Mirrors everywhere in that house.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and the rest of you, please tune in for our next talk with Chris Thornley, aka Raid71. And if not, you can still watch it. If you don't have time, you can watch it later on. All the videos going to be on YouTube. But
And the
yeah.
quiz.
The quiz is later tonight. A lot
3
of
hours.
stuff to win. Matt Ferguson was so nice to give us a couple prints to have as a big prize. So don't miss
Empire
it.
Strikes Back.
You guys have been brilliant. It's been really good.
Um,
And also
well done.
a good thing to ease into doing more of these, like, these online convention things.
And
really
it's a good thing that finally a couple of you finally meet each other.
Yeah.
Not face to face, but at least they can see each other face to face.
Business connections
Been
happened
magical.
during this meeting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Eileen and Matt are going to talk. Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Ta-da.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. See you soon, and we'll talk then. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Artists, please don't leave Redway.